Kia ora, 21st of September 2022, morning ramble. Apologies that have been a bit infrequent. Reality is that we're getting very close to the move, so morning rambles will just be what they are for now, for anyone who may be watching. Anyway, my 10 cents on this one this morning is about to enter the Pigzone. Just going to have a look around to see what the jungle has produced, and we'll see if there's anything interesting. So keep it relatively quick. It's just going to be a sea of green, with more green and maybe some colour interspersed where there's flowers and things. But this is an example of what happens if you let the pigs roam through a particular chunk of land and then do their thing on it, and then you don't do anything with it really for a while. So it should be a bit of an adventure. All right. So yeah, this is very overgrown. It's going to get pretty bright. And as you've seen in previous rambles, we know that there's tromboncinos and squashes and things all over the place. So I'm just going to take my life into my hands and see if I can get through here without falling in a hole or something stupid. Alright, so we have volunteer cherry tomatoes, and I can see some small tomatoes on these. I mean, this is very late in the season, so I'm not expecting these to do much. Yeah, I can see some actual cherry tomatoes on these, but we get a lot of volunteer tomatoes because the chickens, used to play football with them and roam around all over the place. I can see that there's more over there as well, so I guess that's a thing. I'm surprised there's a corn or anything in here. Wow, this is really thick. Maybe there is. It's just kind of buried under everything else. So this grass was really super tall earlier in the year. You can see over there against the back of the RV, there's tromboncinos still growing like crazy. And more over on the fence over there. I don't know how far through this jungle I'm going to be able to get this morning. But yeah, there's squash all over the place, and these are still producing. And that's one thing I noticed in the garden when we were growing this stuff out, is that we were producing right up until those first really hard freezes. Then that kind of put a damper on it. Could be interesting. We are supposed to get to 92 degrees today, and then tomorrow the high is 65. So that will be a shock to the system for anything that's growing, really. Well, I actually thought that there would be a lot more fruit. So I can see that there's a lot of flowers on the vines, but I'm not seeing as much fruit. So kind of interesting. It seems like it's actually thrown all its energy into getting through the grass and getting to the outside of the outside ring, and fruited on the vines. So my original guesstimate that there's probably a lot of fruit sitting in here is actually not correct. I don't know, I can see some down there. It's a really big tromboncino. So maybe, oh yeah, there's another one down there. So they're kind of hidden in the grass. And I don't know what we're going to do about this. This is just one of those things where we didn't plan for it. We've got other plans. You see there's still young tromboncinos still growing in here. Prolific plant. And if anyone who's never grown tromboncinos, maybe you've grown butternut squash. We had a good season with our butternut squash when we grew those. Something like 400 pounds of it. It was insane. I think I've got photos of them all curing up on a, and that's not all of them. It was like 70 something pounds of you see, kind of tucked away in here. All these here. So these older ones are technically tromboncinos that have gone to butternut squash. Well, not butternut squash, but they've gone butternut squash style. They've aged past the point of using them like zucchinis. And with tromboncinos, you really need to get those young. Through to, through to that colour, that golden colour. And yeah, the reality with those is that those are the winter style ones. You want to harvest those, clean them down, get them in the sun for a few days, and then apply a light, or basically rinse them with rinse them with a white vinegar solution, and then just let them sit out in the sun more and go from there. Yeah, and I'm just kind of wandering over towards the fence now to try and get out. And I can see lots of squash here. So it looks like when we had the really tall grass, it just went crazy. Holy heck! I just found like this massive cluster of squash, which you can't see because I flipped the video back around. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of volunteer vegetables. Yeah, so what was I saying about curing squash? And I'll when we start growing squashes and stuff again, I'll do some videos on that as well, just so you know how I deal to it. Because we grew squash, butternut squash, a few years back, and that really good, really awesome crop. And then the year after that, we did tromboncinos instead. We still had a few volunteer butternut squashes, but really it was mainly tromboncinos. Because I think Jack Spirico, had basically said, "Oh, tromboncinos are awesome," and I was like, "Okay, well, we'll try them out." And the one thing I will add with the tromboncinos is they really are happy to get away from borers and things. So anyway, they are awesome. But the challenge you have is when you leave them too long, or you can't harvest enough, and it doesn't take more than a plant or two to generate a lot of tromboncino. You then have to cure the results. Otherwise, it's animal feed or farmer's market or whatever. But if you cure them, then there is the longevity. So the butternut squash, yes, I cured those. It was my first time doing that, and they're supposed to last through the winter and basically into spring. Well, they lasted through the winter and into spring and through the summer and all the way through to the winter following that before I really had to pick through them and get rid of some of them. So if you do the process right, you will end up with a lot of vegetables very well preserved, which means you need the space to store them. So that's a whole different debate. So yeah, so a lot of tromboncinos that we're really not going to use, unfortunately. So I don't know if Dawn Toodle's back up here maybe after the move and decides to plough through, and maybe she can just take them down to the farmer's market or something, give them away for nothing or whatever. I'm sure some people will find them unusual because they don't really know what they are. But anyway, yeah, so curing tromboncinos, I will be honest, my curing the tromboncinos experiment did not work as well, but I will confess that I did not actually apply the same attention to the tromboncinos that we grew last year as opposed to the butternut squash. So I think that's on me, not actually on the vegetable itself. So yeah, when we get more established and start doing our thing with gardens again, we'll probably work on those a little bit better. But anyway, that's it for now. Off to work and coffee and all that kind of stuff. Take care, have a good one, and have a great day. Bye bye.